Hello everyone. Welcome to the day 2 of data analysis with Power Query Marathon. We are going to have a 30-day series and we'll be learning bit by bit. We'll work from the foundations level to the very advanced. As we have discussed in the last lecture also, the introductory lecture, that is day 1. I'll be your instructor for the day. My name is Dhruv Puri. If you have any doubts, you can always contact us. You might have the details with you. Second thing, as we work along with all of these data files, or let's say examples that we are going to have in each lecture, just remember that we are going to always use practical case studies, and I'll be explaining what case studies that we're going to use right now. But before we discuss what case studies we have, let's understand the concept of why we actually do Power Query in the first place. So as you can see in front of you, I have these weird abbreviations written on the screen, that is ETL, query, EETL, and then loading and connecting with web. I'll work around with all of them in this lecture. So ETL stands for extracting, transforming, and loading data. So whenever you actually work in a particular organization that works around with data, you can take any example. Let's take Zomato or Infosys or TCS. I'm just saying random names, companies which I know are working on data majorly. So these companies will actually have a data warehouse where all the data of the company will be stored. They will have the backup also, but the entire data will be stored in a data warehouse. And now this data warehouse is a place from where you will be extracting data based on your needs. So it can happen that you are in sales. It can happen that you are in operations. It can happen that you are into marketing. You will be all of these roles will be extracting data from the data warehouse itself. That is known as extracting data from a common point, right? We need to have a common point while we are extracting data. Once we have the data in front of us, sometimes we can just use it as it is, but sometimes we need to change it. And this change is known as transforming. So it might happen that you extracted data for the last 20 years, but you wanted last 10 years, right? So you will delete the last, the first 10 years of the data set. So you have a clean data with what you can actually work around now. So that is known as transforming data based on your needs. And when you have the final data file which you can work with, you load it into your data models. It can be Excel, it can be anything, it can be a pivot table, it can be anything, right? So this is the meaning of ETL. We extract, we transform, and then we load the data into our data models or our Excel files, right? And Power Query essentially comes into play when we are actually doing these three functions majorly. We learn how to extract data powerfully. We learn how to do a lot of manipulation of data, especially in the Power Query software. So we're not going to do a lot of formulas and other things, especially in Power Query, but we're going one step ahead from our last lecture series, that is Microsoft Excel, and we are going to train ourselves specifically in this area where we'll be learning how to do all of these functions. In this lecture, we'll be working on extracting the data, and under extraction we'll be loading and we'll be connecting with internet, or that is some website, and these websites are Equity Pundit, the website I found on internet, and we are taking data from Indian equity markets. And I want the first case study relates to finding the historical stock prices of TCS. Second, I want financial information, that is financial ratios of Reliance Industries, right? So these are the two links that we will be working with, and we want to do all of this using Power Query. We don't want to go to the website by ourselves. We don't want to download it or copy paste or do the manipulation again. We want to do everything using Power Query, and we want to be just get done with it, right? So we'll start with how to open Power Query in the first place. So just like how we have a different software for Microsoft Excel and different software for Microsoft Word, we're not having any particular software Power Query. It is inbuilt inside Microsoft Excel, because again, we are working with data. So we'll work around with that. So for that, you need to go to the data tab and under the ribbon section, and then under the get and transform group, you can go ahead and you can go to get data, and then you can click on launch Power Query editor. We can connect the entire file without even launching the Power Query, but I want to launch Power Query right now so that you can understand how to open Power Query in the first place. So we'll launch Power Query editor. It might take a few minutes because the dataset is actually a little heavy. The entire add-in is a little heavy, and you can find we have like five tabs in front of you. We have file, we have home, we have transform, we have add column, and we have view. But most of the options are disabled right now because we don't have any data in front of us, but we'll get there. So if we go to home section, let's just first get the data so that we can understand how it works. We'll go to a new source. Under new source, we'll go to other sources. Yeah, under other sources, we'll go to web. And the minute I'm actually in web, I'll do, let's say, Control V. So I have copy pasted the share price data of Reliance. I actually went on the internet. I got this website from where I wanted the data. So if you want a data from a certain website, you can go there and then you can get the the website link, that is HTTPS links, and then you can copy paste it here. That's how it's going to work. I wanted data of Reliance Industries, so I got it from here. But before that, let's get the data of TCS. That is, you can go here, but I want to just copy paste. I don't want to click it, and I'll go to data again, and I'll launch Power Query, and then I'll go to new source, other sources, web, and then under basic, we are not going to advanced right now, although we might after some time. We'll enter the URL here, then click on OK. Your Power Query editor will take some time to get connection with the website in the first place and get all the data. You can see my screen, a lot of things are being loaded right now, and you can see now the website has been loaded. I can go to web view and you can see that I have opened the entire website inside Power Query, and I can see where what all data set is there on the website and what all do I want to get in the first place. So right now I can see the data is the data is from 4th October 2019 and it goes till today, that is October 2nd of 2024. So it is around 5 years of data that we have here. And if we go to table view and we go to table 1, you can see this entire data file is actually loaded here, right? And we can see a caution sign down below. The data in the preview has been triangulated due to the size level. So we don't have all the data, but we know, they're like much more than that. And most of the times, all you have to do is go to suggested tables, because Power Query is smart enough to understand what you exactly might want to get from the internet in the first place. So click on table 2, table 3 and table 4, but we don't see what we really want to, so we'll stick to table 1 that we have. And the minute I'll go ahead and I'll say, okay, this sounds okay, I'll click on OK. And now you can see the entire data file is being loaded. And here we go. You can see that this is the source. This entire thing got uploaded automatically. You didn't have to do anything by yourself. And then you extracted the data, and this is the change type. So we'll work around with that. There's some things which you might want to know here. Now, as we are going down, you can see all the data of the last 5 years is being uploaded here. Now, this is a setting that I already did in the link, right? I went to the website and I changed the setting to show me last 5 year data. That's why it is showing me last 5 year data now. You can also go with 1 year, you can also go with 2 years, whatever you want, right? But for me, what I want you to understand here is, this is known as canvas. I call it canvas. So whatever, things that I've selected, that would be displayed here. So let's say I selected column 2, that would be displayed here. And let's say I'm selecting all of these. All of these will be just displayed here. I don't want these first two, columns. So sorry, first 2 rows. So I want to just delete all of them, and I want these to be my headers. So we'll work around with that and we'll see how that can be arranged for us, right? Other thing, as I have connected to the internet and I have, connected my Power Query where I want to get the last 5 year data. Let's say I'm going to get the data next year, that is 2025, then I'll get the data from 2020 till 2025, the last 5 years. So it will automatically keep on changing the data for you. You don't necessarily have to do it every single day. That's the beauty of using Power Query. You will always find it easy to manipulate the data, to load the data automatically into your Excel files. But you should be connected to the internet if you are using a website. I am just telling you right away. So if I have to work around, we'll see how these informations can be changed. This is the name of the table that we have. I want it to be, let's say, TCS share prices, and it will take one minute, and I will actually do it. And if I select here and I will go to home, under reduce rows, you can see I can go to reduce top rows, right? I can click on reduce top row, and I want to reduce the first 2 rows. I want to delete both of them, and I'm going to click on OK. And I want this to be my header now, right? So I will promote this as header by going to home, under home transform group, and use first row as headers. So you can see now my entire Excel file looks, not Excel file, but my query editor looks really clean, and I can see a change in the data formats also. So this is the Power Query, as entirely as you can see. If you click here, you can see that data types that you have here, and Power Query has automatically assigned a date format for my column A, that is date. For price, it has given me decimal number, and for high, low, volume, for volume it has given me whole numbers, because again we cannot trade fractional pairs. Good enough. And then we have a percentage for our percentage change, right? That is the daily returns that we are going to get from the internet. So the best part about Power Query is this section, applied steps. So you can go ahead and play around with that. So let's say I accidentally promoted the headers, and I wanted a particular step to be deleted. So Power Query will actually keep on keep a memory of what all steps have we performed, and it will remember it, so that we can delete it whenever we want. We can move on whenever we want. So let's say I wanted to just see the change type. I can go here. If I don't want to change the type, I can always delete it from here, right? But I won't do it for now, because to change everything, it will be a hectic thing for me right away. Let's say I want to delete the promote headers. So you can see I can delete a singular step from what I've done in the history. Unlike Excel, I don't have to do undo all the way back and then do something and then perform all the functions all together. In Power Query, things are very different. I can delete a certain step that I did in the history of everything I have performed. But most of the time, in this case, it's a little different. Most of the times, Power Query will actually add the headers for you. For now, Power Query could not identify, but most of the time that would be done. And we are done with the extraction of our first case study. And now if I'm going to click on close and load, I will do close and load too. And you can see it will show me where exactly do I want to load all of my data. I would like to have only a connection, right? You can play around with all of them, but I prefer to create just a connection for now. And I would, so let's say I'm creating a pivot table. I would like everything to be there in my data model as well. So I would like this to be, added to my data model, and I will click on OK. So you can see under queries and connection that I have, TCS share price will get on, get here. Data is being loaded here. Creating relationships, and here we go. So this data set, let's say I want to load it. I can just go to load it, and I can just load it to my Excel file. Other than that, if I want to refresh the data that I have, I can just click on refresh all, and then it will get refreshed. Otherwise, if I want only a specific sheet to be refreshed, I can click here and then I can refresh that as well, right? So you can see it got refreshed again. Every day if we do it, our data model will keep on changing. So that would be a good edge for you, right? That's why we try to create the dynamic models, right? We necessarily have to just connect it once, and every day we just need to refresh it. That's all. We don't have to go to website, download everything and do it again and again. Second thing that we have to do is just get the financial ratios of Reliance Industries. So I will go to let's instead of opening Power Query now, I will connect it from here, instead. So I'll go to from web. Under URL, I will copy and paste the link. I click on OK, and it will take some time to load. This time we can see a lot of data, right? So you can see what text is being displayed, right? You can see the website, HTML code. If you want to see it will be shown in your table view, and you can go ahead and you can see what all information we have. We have table 1 where we have today's market, and then table 2, then intraday support and resistance based on whatever pivot point or something. Table 3, we don't have any information here. Quarterly results 0.2. I don't know what's the difference between the two, but let's just keep it like that. We can move over and we can verify. That's why we have a web view. If we are not able to understand a certain table, we can always go ahead and we can see where that information is located, and we can understand what is the meaning. So right now a name is given to all of them because Power Query is smart enough to understand what the dataset is all about. And if you go to table 4, we have the entire balance sheet. So you don't necessarily have to create the balance sheet by yourself every time. You can go to such websites, export the balance sheets using Power Query right away. That's the best part, right? And it will keep on updating the minute balance sheet is updated on the website itself. So you don't have to worry about any errors in the first place. You can download, you can connect the balance sheet of the company in the first place. We can have other tables also. You can see we have these tables, right? Net profit before tax. I think this is the current information. This is the other information. Table 7, table 8, table 9, and table 10, table 11, table 12. I think all of these are actually clubbed together because I think in the website we have a lot of sections for profit and loss statement. See, for balance sheet just one. For profit and loss statement, I am not sure if it is being shown here. Yes, you can see this is what we were seeing on the internet. We can work around with that easily. We can combine these tables. We can load all of them and then we can combine all of these. Let's go to table view again and let's see what we really want. You can see the registered office, the information into any company you can extract. Table 13, table 14. You can see, you can get the information about the contacts. And we have table 17, table 18, table 19, table 20, 21. Aha! This is what we really wanted. We wanted the financial ratios available to us, and here we have it. So we can directly transform the data and it will open Power Query for us. If we are going for load, you can see two options are available, load and load to. I've already shown you what will happen if you are loading it directly, but what will happen if we are actually going with load to? We are going to have a table in front of us, right? And you can see the the table name is also table 21, and these are the financial ratios. So you can change these names from here, and then you can work on just like how we did it in Excel. And once we click here, it will actually update the financial ratios for us. So if you are creating a quantitative finance model, you can easily use Power Query to get the latest data possible from a website or any website, and then you can work around with that. So in this case study, I know the lecture was a little longer, but based on what we actually studied, we actually just studied how to extract data, transform data. We explored different functions of Power Query. But this is a certain example that I've taken. Sometimes this is how you actually extract data. And the other thing that you might want to do along with this lecture is to go on internet, find a particular website of your own choice. It can be anything, and try to extract data from that website, and then see if you can do it. Follow the steps that I've done, and that would be it from my end. I'll see you on day 3. Thank you.